Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you check us out on Patreon at www.patreon.com/Hookah Anonymous _. You guys been telling us to create one for the longest, so we recently created a community where we will upload videos that we can't share on YouTube due to their guidelines. We'll also be dropping the latest to there first, behind the scenes information that you wouldn't find anywhere else on our socials. So make sure you become a member, and after you do that, head over to our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _ and follow us there. Now without further ado, let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, as I tell y'all time after time, one thing about the court of law, it's not about what you know, it's about what you can prove. Now, no matter how much evidence they may have, opinions, or things that may even lead to seem like someone is guilty. In the words of Johnny Cochran, if the glove don't fit, then you must acquit. With that being said, T Grizzly affiliate 600 Thang seemed to have skated off easy, might be, in this trial pertaining to being accused of unaliving T Grizzly's aunt/manager, Jobrina Brown, aka JB. Quick recap for y'all that don't know what's going on. T Grizzly's manager was shot and unalived back in 2019 in the 3600 block of 3 Mile Drive around 9 p.m. According to Detroit police, they would state the shooting occurred when a black Chrysler 300 occupied by JB, T Grizzly, and another man who was the driver stopped at a location. When the driver got out the car, that's when shots were fired from an unknown location, striking JB, as she was the only one who was fatally struck in the shooting. Now, according to T Grizzly, his story would be a little different than what the news said, as he was more detailed with what transpired. T Grizzly would state that they went to a relative's house while JB stayed in the car. She didn't want to go into the house because she was funny about going to people's houses that was dirty, although they were in a pretty bad neighborhood late at night. She decided to stay in the car, and as he got out and approached the side of the house, he heard shots being fired. He described that he believes the shooter came to get him because the shooter opened the door that he would be at if he was in the car and proceeded to shoot inside the car, thinking it was T Grizzly inside. Instead, it was JB. The shooter shot approximately 8 times into the car and proceeded to run off into the dark, as police had no suspects in custody at the time of the shooting.
They did. I'm ashamed when I lost that day.
you was barely speaking. I said, hey, they must be tearing him up right now.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All good, man. So the night everything happened, man. Can you kind of go over that night with us? I know y'all was at the studio. I seen you on your Instagram.
Yeah, so we was at the studio with Guapo and Jay Swan or whatever, and I'm going over my cousin's house, my older cousin.
Mm-hmm.
He was real close with my pops, just like my pops' brother.
Mm-hmm. And
I always try to, you know what I'm saying, show him some love, because that's another wound we really ain't healed from.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I went over there, and I was telling her, like, come in the house. And she like, no, I don't want to go in. I'm begging her to come in the house.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, certain areas, you just can't, you got to move right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't about where you at. I could go anywhere I want to.
Right.
But I gotta move right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if I'm moving right, can't nothing happen to me. So I'm telling her to come in the house. She like, no. Because JB was kind of like funny acting about dirty houses.
Okay.
And stuff like that.
Now fast forward, T Grizzly affiliate 600 Thang, who was also an affiliate of 600 Hookah, was picked up and charged for the unaliving of JB. It is said that he was in the rental car that was reportedly stolen, which police believe was associated with the shooting, and as he was also in possession of the same firearm that was used in the shooting of the crime as well. Now, first and foremost, if my friend of any sort was picked up for the unaliving of my aunt/manager, where the shooting is believed to really have been targeting me, then I would have to cut him and anybody that's associated with him short, whether he's found guilty or not. To think that someone close to you was picked up for a shooting that was supposedly meant for you, but unalived your aunt/manager, that'd be crazy, being that they could have picked anybody in the world. Now, people begin thinking that T Grizzly may have had some type of hand in the shooting himself, alleging that he may have orchestrated the whole thing, because they felt the story he gave stating what happened just didn't make sense, and just the fact that someone close to him was picked up as the shooting along with the vehicle and weapon used. However, T would acknowledge the rumors and claims and would tell everyone not to believe whatever they see or hear on social media.
I just ain't the that's about to go around trying to clear it up because it is what it is. As far as like, you know, I ain't about to be certain can't entertain, bro, especially when it's absolutely nonsense. You see what I'm saying? Well, you do got a lot of though that go to the internet and think that everything they see on is facts. It's not a place for facts. You can see some dead in your face, chat. That's not true. So you think you can't be fooled by the internet?
With 600 Wu-Thang on trial and the evidence they have against him, which was cell phone towers pinging his location to the exact location 2 hours prior to the shooting, being caught with the firearm and vehicle associated with the shooting, anybody in their right mind would assume that 600 Wu was cooked. The biggest piece of evidence he tried to have thrown out was that the phone pinging his location to the crime scene wasn't a phone he often used, basically indicating that even if it was his, it's possible that someone else could have had it. However, it's been proven that he used it plenty of times, including calling his probation officer and other calls made showing that it was a primary phone that he used. As of Thursday, August 1st, we will find out that the jury couldn't come to a decision, and by July 31st, it was considered a hung jury, which will continue back on August 15th, 2025. This usually means that whoever the jury was, with whatever evidence that was presented to them, Wu's lawyer did a hell of a job persuading the jury enough to show doubt within the charges against his client. For the ones that don't understand what a hung jury is, Wikipedia will state, quote, "A hung jury, also called a deadlock jury, is a judicial jury that cannot agree upon a verdict after extended deliberation and is unable to reach the required unanimity or supermajority. A hung jury may result in a case being tried again. This situation can occur only in common law legal systems. Civil law systems either do not use juries at all or provide that the defendant is immediately acquitted if the majority or supermajority required for conviction is not reached during a singular, solemn vote." Now, I brought that up because it's important to know that there's a difference between civil and criminal. In a civil case, there's usually no jury, but in criminal cases, which usually deals more with jail punishment, out of fairness for the case and the defendant, they have 12 jurors for regular trials, but then have up to 20 plus people for grand jury trials. It all depends. Now, the thing about juries is that everyone must be on the same accord in order to convict someone. It don't matter if 11 out of those 12 jurors feel he's guilty. If one person says no, he's not guilty, then they can't properly convict him. Simple. And in this case, we don't know how much people feel he may be guilty or not, but being that it's a hung case, it means that they all couldn't come to the decision that he is in fact guilty, which also means that his lawyer did a hell of a job. Now, speaking of a hell of a job, most people are wondering, well, what could he have possibly said or done that persuaded the jury to think he wasn't guilty if he had his cell phone pinged to the exact location and he was caught with a firearm and a vehicle that they believe was used in the crime? Well, according to Poetic Flacco, he states that it was Wu-Thang's brother that came to court and testified and basically helped his brother case out after he would let the courts know that during the time he's being accused of the shooting, he himself was recovering from being shot and could barely walk. So him being the shooter just didn't make sense, right? Y'all check this out.
So his lawyer brought his brother to testify, and they brought medical records. So he got shot August 6th. Wu-Thang. He got shot August 6th, and he was in the hospital until August 15th. When he left the hospital, we don't know what his condition is, but his brother testified that when he left the hospital August 15th, that he could barely walk. That he was in horrible shape.
Yo, it seemed like your boy Poetic Flacco really want this man locked up. Now, y'all also gotta keep in mind that the reason why he's saying that, right? If he was shot August 6th and he was let out August 15th, they saying that Jobina Brown was actually shot and unalive August 20th, 2019. So keep that in mind when y'all hear him run down the timeline. The reason why he's saying that is because if she was in fact shot on August 20th and he was released August 15th, I mean, maybe he couldn't walk, maybe he could. Some people get shot and could still manage after being let out the hospital. Who knows?
Dad, when he left the hospital August 15th, he was disabled. Now, we know the brother came to that court adding cake on it, bruh. We know the brother came to that court and did what he had to do, homie.
As he should, right? Listen, let me tell you, right or wrong, we know at the end of the day, if that's one of our siblings, if it's our brother, sister, mother, cousin, aunt, and you're gonna go to that court, who's gonna go to the court and say, well, yes, I do think my brother, mother, cousin, aunt, they're guilty, I'm sorry. Nobody in this world. So what did you expect them to do? Now, he's saying that they brought medical records. And this is the part where the jury is now, deciding whether he really was or not. Because anybody in their right mind, if they got shot and left the doctor August 15th, at the end of the day, in your right mind, you thinking, well, he has to be hurt. There's no way he could pull off a crime like this if he's hurt. But if you from the hood, anything is possible.
Because realistically, nobody will really know if he's telling the truth or not.
Mm-hmm.
He was shot. He was in the hospital until August 15th. Now, I heard some rumors about that shooting too, but we're not going to talk about it yet. Y'all connect the dots if you want.
Damn.
Nobody would know this. This is like as concrete as an alibi it could get. Because once you leave the hospital and you're in your family home, well, they can lie about your condition as much as they want. Bro, they could say, man, bro, this man could barely walk, even though you was up and about, man, and in the streets afterwards, bro. Even though you was back on your feet playing basketball afterwards, they could still come to court and say, this man could barely walk. We couldn't recognize him, man. He was paraplegic, or whatever the word is.
Boy, he said paraplegic. Look at his face. When you say something, what the hell is it? He meant paraplegic. Boy, he said he was paraplegic. Hold on.
We couldn't recognize him, man. He was paraplegic, or whatever the word is. And there's nothing you can do about it.
True.
Even though I'm not buying it, bro, because 2 months later, he was running from the cops in a Detroit alley, bro. You was not that hurt. Cut it out.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, Poetic Flacco does make a very, very good point. If y'all been any type of in tune to the drill culture when it comes to Chicago, how many of these guys we seen get shot and they back out on the streets that same week, right? Sometime the following week. So it does happen, but I'm not gonna lie. If he did get shot, right, and he's in the hospital and he was released on August 15th and the shooting happened on the 20th, as long as his brother can prove and they come with medical records, to be honest with you, he just might get off. He just might, whether he really did it, well, like I told y'all before, it's not what you think, it's not what you say, it's what you can prove. At the end of the day, a regular person in their mind is not going to think a man that was just shot is going to come out and commit a crime like this. Is it possible? Yes. But the average person is not going to think that something like this can happen. So we just might see a mistrial. Now, after the hung jury information came out, Wu will post a kissy face emoji to his IG story. Clearly he's in good graces and believe that he'll get off, but does it mean he get off come August 15th? Not necessarily. But I can't lie, it's rare you see a hung jury, and if you do, they usually end in mistrial. But if I was him, I wouldn't get so happy, and I damn sure wouldn't be on social media sending kissy faces as if it's already over. You never know what could happen. Plus, trolling in a situation like this will come back to haunt you in the long run if you aren't careful. Now, I can't lie, this have been a turn of events that's been pretty crazy, but this case reminds me a lot of Lil Durk's cases, especially the one he caught with Vaughn, where they claim he was on surveillance, seen his arm with tattoos, and he still beat it. But as I tell y'all, a lot of times, it's not about what you know, it's about what you can prove in a court of law. And if you had a good enough lawyer, sometimes you could get away with just about anything, to be honest. And of course, a little bit of money. But y'all jump in the comments and let me know what y'all think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'ma keep on dropping. I'm out.